Behind me is the remnants of the corner of Peter Street and Mississauga Street, which is devastated by a fire this Tuesday morning.
Obviously, this has kind of encompassed the entire Orillia.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean from you as a mayor and looking at the overall Orillia community?
Well, everyone has a connection with this building. It's part of the historic downtown. When I was a kid, I'd come in and buy candy, and later I'd buy cigars. It was a United Cigar Store. The building was built in 1882, so it's 140 odd years old. It's housed a number of businesses, and unfortunately this week 13 commercial businesses were put out of business, and it affected the whole downtown, the whole city.
So obviously you were mentioning about growing up. Do you have any other fond memories of what, obviously, I've been down here the last couple of years, and I've heard many stories. There's a roller rink, obviously the comic book store.
Yeah.
Can you describe anything other than the historic part, what was in this building going way back?
I have never been upstairs in that building, but I understand there was a roller rink upstairs, and there were tall ceilings, and you could see the tracks from the roller rink were still there. My experience was the cigar store at the front. We used to buy candy and comic books and real cigars later, and behind it there used to be a barber shop that I used to get my hair cut at one point when I had hair.
Looking obviously that's behind us, and you said the amount of stores have lost. Do you think the economic impact for Orillia is going to be there lasting quite a while?
Well, sure, I think so. I talked to a number of the downtown merchants over the last couple of days, and they're hurting because people aren't coming into their stores. There's just not the traffic they would normally get. It's a difficult time for businesses at this time of year, and this just makes it doubly hard.
Do you, obviously, the fire, the safety of the building, everything is being demolished. Is there a plan, has there been talked about of rebuilding after it's all done, or is that too early?
Probably early. I've talked to the owner a couple times, and he's obviously interested in rebuilding and putting it back. It's difficult to tear down, but unfortunately the roof had collapsed, the second floor had collapsed, and the structural integrity of the building had gone. So out of safety's sake, it just had to come down, unfortunately.
Looking at the actual date of, we had Rama, we had Romero, Severin, we got to everything.
Sure.
Obviously, biggest thing was going to be really there first on scene.
Yep.
What would you say in terms of the efforts put in by Orillia Fire and the surrounding fire departments?
Sure. Well, it was you never really want to see a first responder work until you do. Then you want to see them do their stuff, and it was just a privilege to watch them. Chris Ferry is the new fire chief. He's been on the job about 3 weeks, and has this handed to him. He coordinated with, that you said, Ora Madani, Severin, Romero, and Rema First Nations. Also the OPP provided support on scene, and they also helped arrest someone who is now accused of setting the fire. Salvation Army was here. Simcoe North victims were here as well. There are just so many groups came together. It's just wonderful to see it work.
Being the mayor of Orillia, what are your personal overall thoughts of the entire situation?
Well, I have learned long ago that Orillians are resilient people. They pound through stuff. They reach out, and they're unselfish. When stuff happens, they reach out. Somebody reached out. The first call I got was Lakehead University. Hey, we have space. People need space. Come. They can warm up. We'll work it out. Eclectic Cafe closed for the day and opened only for first responders. Hog and Penny did the same thing for meals. Just so many people reach out. It's gratifying to see. My hope is that all the businesses recover quickly, in the business in the building itself as well as the business around, and that all those affected, plow forward and recover in a good way.
Now, just one more last question. And again, if it's too early, you don't have to answer. Is the city really looking at helping cover some of the costs, or not yet?
Well, unfortunately, the city is prohibited by provincial legislation from benefiting a business. Like, we can't say, hey, we're going to give your taxes back, we're going to donate money to the project. There are things we could do. We could probably waive some development costs or something. We could certainly assist the builder when he is looking for permits and that sort of thing, but that's all the city staff does that. So we'll do whatever we can to help. There's talk of fundraisers and that sort of thing, and we certainly support that. Councillor Leatherdale is working on a proposal to possibly have free parking downtown for a little bit, just to ease the burden for downtown merchants. So we'll do what we can to help.